Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh, the other host.
And this is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel Comics that began in the year 2000 that was meant to reimagine and modernize Marvel and its characters for the 21st century. So they started a whole new line of comics, including Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four. You get the idea. Josh and I have been looking back almost every episode, just reading like a handful of issues from each series, just talking about the stories, what we like, what we don't like so much, what holds up, what doesn't really age so well, and generally how these comics have influenced Marvel and its characters in comics, as well as other media like TV, movies, animation, etc. And so this episode, we're talking about an arc from Ultimate X-Men titled Date Night. It's Ultimate X-Men issues 66 through 68. This is actually a very significant new chapter in Ultimate X-Men because this is the beginning of the Robert Kirkman run on the title. Robert Kirkman, for those of you who might not be so familiar, Invincible and The Walking Dead fame, huge name in the comic book industry. He's still got a huge hand in Invincible, like in the animated series. He's like the executive producer on that show. And like huge name. He did work on a few Marvel things in the 2000s, like Marvel Zombies, for instance, that we talked about on this podcast. Go check out that episode.
Did we ever cover all of Marvel Zombies, or?
I think we just covered the first miniseries, but he does the second miniseries as well. He does the first two, and then from there, a bunch of other creators take over.
I think he's a great writer. I've heard Invincible after a certain point kind of... It does the Marvel trap of, like, it actually does age.
Yeah, Invincible, I think, is such a good series because it allows the characters to like grow and change over time, and the character Mark Grayson is allowed to age and grow up. For those of you who are frustrated with Spider-Man comics, if you really want to see Peter Parker grow and mature over time, just read Invincible and it'll basically give you that story.
Yeah.
So
he even gets together with a redhead.
Yeah, I feel like Mark Grayson is very much like, what if it's like Spider-Man, like Peter Parker, but with like Superman powers? And he's like the son of Superman, really? Anyways, without giving too much away, if you're like one of the few comic fans that somehow hasn't read Invincible or hasn't watched the Invincible cartoon, like do that.
Yeah.
I highly recommend.
You even get J. Jonah Jameson as the dad.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons voices Omni-Man in that show. So great comic, great series. But yeah, this is just a batch of issues written by Robert Kirkman that begins his run that lasts for a while. What do you think of these issues, Josh?
I really like them. Like, the first comic was really fun because I feel the appeal of the X-Men is just the way they interact with each other, them having drama, them living their lives as best as they can. It's a little too horny. Like, especially because we find out, spoilers, then in issue 69, nice.
Yeah.
Jean, who's like one of the older X-Men, is only 20, and I'm like, so we just watched 16-year-olds go at it.
Yeah, for like a rare moment, I am in agreement with you, Josh. These are like a horny batch of issues for the X-Men.
You say it's a rare moment, but every other episode of Ultimate X-Men, you say, it's in a rare moment. I agree with you. It's a little too horny.
All right. Well, you know what? I will agree with you because it's a double whammy. The X-Men, just as a team and as a franchise, notoriously very horny. Add on to that this is the original Ultimate Marvel imprint from the 2000s, which can be very horny a lot of the time because it's the 2000s Ultimate Marvel and they're going for like edgier, more quote-unquote mature storylines in comics. And yeah, there is going to be a lot of horndogginess involved, as Josh puts it.
Especially because these characters are all teens, and teens aren't really that horny, in my opinion. They want to be, but they're not.
Yeah, teens are very horny, Josh.
Yeah, but they don't act on it.
Depends on where you are and who you're talking to. Some of them do and some of them don't.
That's a good
Some
point.
of them are so repressed, like Cyclops, and can't act on it. And then some of them just go wild.
I will say, I believe the stats back me up, is that most high schoolers don't even go on a date in high school. It's a very small percentage.
I think media like movies and television, they do kind of overplay how often like teenagers like in high school like end up like hooking up or like going to big wild parties like ragers and things like that. A lot of that is like overly exaggerated for like teen comedy movies or like TV shows or things like that.
Like Glee,
Yeah, yeah, like Glee, for example, that's
which we
for
were just
sure.
talking about. So
Yes, because as those of you who are longtime listeners of this show have probably heard once or twice that I am a fan of Glee, and I blame my fiance fully for corrupting me this way, and I don't
it's
even think
such a
she knew
bad
what she was
show.
doing. It's so much fun. I don't care. Listen, it
I
goes downhill after the first 3 seasons, I will admit.
like anything by Ryan Murphy, and I don't like Glee, and like a couple of the cast members went to my high school, and I just don't like it for some still.
It's so fun. It's so goofy and ridiculous and like unhinged so much of the time, and the characters are so entertaining. I love it.
I
Oh my
will
gosh.
I will say I have in my high school. I know for a fact most people didn't date. I know people did, but like I think we were in a pretty average high school where most people didn't. That being said, I've been to some places where like half the student body I feel got pregnant
My
really
gosh, yeah,
early.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah. I think the thing is like it is awkward like in high school to date. I think a lot of kids are just too awkward for it, and like even if you do date in high school, a lot of the time people will look back and be like, "Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing," and like cringe at that.
yeah.
But I think at a place like the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning, all those mutant hormones are going off and everything, and it's such a small group. There's gonna be a lot of overlap in terms of who's dating who and who's doing what, and like
Yeah.
Mutants Gone Wild. That's these issues called date night.
Yeah. I will say, I feel the big thing if you're a high schooler about dating is you don't have the money or a place to date. What are you going
Hmm.
to do? Take her out to Carl's Jr.? That's what kids at my high school did. And I'm like, even as a kid, I was like, do you know how pathetic this makes you look?
I mean, okay, but I seem to recall talking to you in college and you having this whole like sales pitch about how the best first date is to take them to McDonald's and giving a full argument as to why that is the best first date.
That's different. The context is different.
Yeah. What is different about it?
So when you are these high schoolers in my high school taking these girls or guys to Carl's Jr., it's because you don't have a lot of money, obviously. You probably have a
Right.
job in and out at most, probably
Hmm.
not even that. And you really can't take her out anymore because you don't have a car. And even if you do, you can only go so far. While as an adult, McDonald's is a price saving measure, or it used to be because since then, McDonald's has significantly raised their prices. That it's like,
Uh, I'm
might
sure
as
you've
well.
noticed.
Yeah, I don't go to McDonald's a lot, but I have noticed. I'm like, at that point, just go to a nice restaurant because I'm like, you're gonna be paying the same amount if you're
Yeah.
buying her food. But
Oh
also,
my
in case
gosh.
you split the bill or she buys, take her to somewhere cheap. So you're being polite about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've heard it here, folks. That's Josh's sales pitch as to why McDonald's is the ideal first date.
Look, I don't do well at dates, so just keep it cheap.
That's such a good tagline for that.
Yeah. Look, I've been to some expensive places, and those relationships went downhill immediately. So keep it
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah. Don't waste money. Don't on a bad investment.
Yeah, I just did, so I learned.
Well, let's just dive into these issues now, Josh, now that we've gotten all warmed up.
So Cyclops bumps into Professor X practicing telekinesis, which is something he doesn't do in regular X-Men.
Yeah, that's a big thing in Ultimate is that Professor X has telekinesis where mainline Professor X doesn't, despite some continuity errors that we've noticed over the years in 616, where sometimes you're like, is he using telekinesis? Like, that's not a thing he has. That's not. How did that slip by editorial? That's not something he does.
It's also like a big debate amongst like Reddit or fan pages of like, can is Professor X telekinetic? The answer is no, but they always cite examples from Ultimate X-Men where he is telekinetic.
Yeah, so like Ultimate X-Men, that is a big difference. And I think it's pretty interesting too because he talks about here that like he's practicing his telekinesis so that one day he can walk again. I'm like, wow, that's a big part of the pun step for Professor X to take to actually like use his powers to like help himself like get out of his wheelchair and walk again one day.
Yeah.
Like that's a big piece of lore they're dropping here.
Yeah. But I do remember there's a part where they're like in the Met Gala or some gala that with the Hellfire Club he uses his telekinesis to lift his chair up over the
That's right.
stairs. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that in Ultimate. But yeah, so that's a pretty interesting piece of information he's given us. But then Cyclops kind of like sets the stage for the premise of this story, which is very slice of life, very relaxed. He's like, hey, Everyone's pretty much going out to blow off some steam after everything they've been through in the past 65 issues of this series. Like, they could
Yeah.
probably use a bit of a break, and Professor X it's like, hey, that's a great idea. We should all like take some time off.
And they're all going on dates, and
Yeah, they're all going on dates. Even Professor X, and it's so funny that Cyclops is like shocked by this. He's like, you're going on a date too?
and he goes like, "It's a business date," and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, Professor X, you're a flesh merchant. You're pimping yourself out for money."
Yeah. He's like, it's business, so that like, I use whatever assets I've got to like seal the deal, you know what I'm saying? To
He's
like
talking about his
close the deal.
penis,
Yeah.
his X penis,
Oh my gosh, yes.
and the X bunk.
I'll be in my X-Bunk. And then it's also revealed Kitty's gonna be going out into the city to be with Spider-Man, which we've been reading Ultimate Spider-Man recently, so that tracks. Professor
Yeah.
X even comments like, Kitty's the only one who gets to like have fun anymore because she gets to go on adventures with Spider-Man. I'm like, yeah, Brian Michael Bendis is actually interested in Kitty, so she gets to have a good time while the rest of you are fucked.
She basically does actually like stop being an X-Men character for a while later on, just purely becomes a Spider-Man character for a bit.
Yeah.
But also does mean you can't do anything too crazy that goes against her character just because she's gonna be in Spider-Man and like the next day. So
yeah, exactly. So she's kind of like shared custody between the two of them.
Storm and Wolverine, which I have weird feelings about. It works in this comic. It's the healthiest relationship he's in, but
yeah,
she's like 20 and he's like 70 at least.
Yeah, I don't think
more.
anyone's really gonna be like at the right age for Wolverine, but yeah, that's still like a crazy age gap. That is like a big glaring error in that relationship.
I was at a dinner at a church a few years ago and I saw a 90-year-old hit on a much younger woman. She was 60.
Yeah, when that's the age gap, I feel like at a certain point I'm like, does it make a difference anymore?
No, I guess not. You know,
it's old versus really old.
Yeah, I was like, but if you're like so much younger than this guy, like, do you really want to be sleeping next to him every day? And I'm like, why not? I guess.
Yeah.
You guys both have grandchildren.
In this context, though, it seems like this is not a romantic thing between Storm and Wolverine. Like, Kitty calls it, like, I don't know, they're, like, gonna go out. And I can't remember how she describes it, but it sounds very bro-y. Just, like, the two of them
they
going
are
out.
romantic. They've made out a few times.
That's true, yeah. But in these few issues, it doesn't really feel that romantic at all. It feels like they're kind of just hanging out, not really, like, in a romantic sense.
Well, people do romance differently. Some couples bang, and some couples watch TV while crocheting socks with their dogs.
Yeah, that's true. So they are together, but they don't need to do the most lovey-dovey romantic thing. As we'll see later, they are not going to do.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally dressed to go to the biker bar, and they have like their leather jackets and everything on.
Yeah. Gene, I'm glad you agree with me, because in the script you wrote, one of the worst outfits I've ever seen. I'm like, yes, they all have disgusting outfits.
Yeah, this is like, Josh is generally more focused on the fashion in these comics than I am, but I could not help when we saw Jean come down the stairs in this issue. She's wearing like a horrendous outfit. It's just, all she's wearing is like a crop top and a skirt, and she's gonna go out on a date with Cyclops. And I'm like, are you serious?
You know,
like, this outfit is hideous.
This is what like teenagers wore in the 2000s, and this is why we all go, yeah, the 2000s was a mistake. We made so many weird errors back then.
Yep, it was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
In some ways more than others. But yeah, Scott and Jean are going to the movies, so despite Jean's horrendous fashion sense, I guess they're still going.
Nightcrawler and Colossus are going to go visit Dazzler in the hospital. And I kind of get it. I love Colossus. We and I were talking. Colossus in Ultimate is like genuinely a pleasant guy to be around. I feel.
Yeah, I feel like most Ultimate characters feel like worse versions of their 616 counterparts, but I feel like, especially given the bad deal that 616 Colossus has gotten over the years, like, I really like Ultimate Colossus.
Yeah.
He feels like just as good, at least as good as mainline Colossus.
Possibly better.
Possibly, just because he's gotten better writing, I feel like, for so much of this.
He also is just like a very nice, good friend. And honestly, I kind of feel bad for Nightcrawler, because I'm like, everyone else is going on a date except me and Colossus has a guy, and you just have to be like, oh, I am just like the seventh wheel in the house.
Yeah.
Because that's like the de facto state I am in most years.
Yeah, I mean, I sympathize with that, but the way they write Nightcrawler in these issues that we'll get to, it's pretty problematic. And he comes off more like an incel in these issues.
Oh yeah, he has before.
He's
a menace in
yeah,
these issues.
But because like Nightcrawler wants to go visit Dazzler, and Colossus is like, that's great, I'll come with you, that'll be great, because they want to visit their ailing teammate in the hospital. And there's this panel where Kurt looks so like dismayed and distraught by this. He's like, you can tell he just wanted to go visit on his own. I'm like, that's weird and creepy. Like, why do you have this possessiveness over someone that's just like, it's like he wasn't even with Dazzler?
Yeah, and oh, by the way, big spoilers. He's a big homophobe in this, and I'm like, because David Buddy for a while now in the series, here is a massive homophobe.
Yeah,
and I really get this idea that like, oh, some characters are problematic, and like maybe it will be one thing if he had this unrequited crush and he's a little homophobic, but he learns to get over it and realize Colossus is still the same friend as always. But they don't go that route. They just turn him into this, like you said, this incel.
Yeah, so you get what I mean when I said earlier that like most of these characters are worse versions of their mainline counterparts, because 616 Nightcrawler could never, like, they could never make me hate mainline Nightcrawler. He's too good for this world.
Well, the one thing I don't like about mainline Nightcrawler is that he's a priest who bangs, which is like, priests don't bang. It's the whole thing.
Well, you know, we all have many sides to ourselves. It is realistic that he's Catholic and still super horny, based on from what I found in real life by real life Catholics.
Name one. No, but not on there.
Okay, well, afterwards. But that's just the stereotype, right? Like, they're so repressed and they get to be so horny because of it.
I will say all our Catholic friends that we went to college with are now like kid 4 somehow. So
yeah, so like you get married, that's full license to bang, and there's proof of that.
Fun fact: Pope John Paul II wrote a book on sex, but he doesn't know anything about it. So he said it's a sin if a woman does an orgasm.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you can tell he doesn't know what he's talking about it, but technically. It's okay in the church's eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow. I have so many thoughts that I can't even get into.
I know, like, all of us are going to hell because, you know, it's hard to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a shame.
I know.
But anyways, all of this is to say everyone's going out for the night, so that just means the only ones left in the mansion are Rogue and Iceman.
Or exes.
Yeah, awkward. They are exes, and Rogue has also like recently like permanently absorbed like the memories and powers of Gambit. So like there's just a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. And so we find out Jean is actually 19. And she's one of the older X-Men. Rogue and Bobby are around 15, 14th or 16-ish. And we got to zoom in on the back of Rogue, zoom in on her butt crack, and I'm like, this is not okay considering we know what the age is.
Yeah, the art is like, eesh, yeah. I mean, the sexualization of teenage girls is like, yikes.
Yeah, it's like the Megan Fox scene in Transformers where we're like, this is not okay.
Yeah, eye rolly, like all the poses they make her do in those movies, and like just having her act as like the eye candy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and also it was already a little weird because Rogue was like 16, 17, and she was with Gambit, who was like 25 or 30. So
yeah, that was problematic in and of itself.
Yeah, great story though, surprisingly.
Yeah, good story. I just wish the age gap was not like that.
Yeah,
but then we cut to a page of like this new character we haven't met yet. He's just this guy like in upstate New York. He wakes up and finds himself like alone,
possibly
in this massive mansion, possibly in Albany, Josh's promised land. That's his mecca. And this kid wakes up and he like has no idea where he is. He's like, hello, anyone? And then we cut to Xavier meeting this woman for this business meeting / date at this nice restaurant.
He's pimping himself out, you know?
Yeah, and it's true because this woman's like, yes, my organization would like to give you and your school a lot of money. And I'm like, all right, this already seems shady based on like the history that the Xavier's has with funding in this universe in Ultimate X-Men.
And with women.
Yes, and with women. But yeah, it's like, okay, is he pimping himself out to get funding for the school?
Maybe the ex-dick works well. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. He would like to rub his bald head in oil and rub it all over her body.
Yeah.
Seinfeld. Anyways.
I did not know that was a Seinfeld reference.
Yeah, it was a deep cut. But then in the hospital, Nightcrawler is just like whining to Colossus about how like Dazzler chose the angel over the demon. I'm like, dude, you're being such an incel right now.
I'll be fair to Nightcrawler. I do think he's an incel because he keeps coming back. But at the moment, it just seems like if you just read it in where it is now, it's not incel. It could just be a friend who's concerned over another friend. confiding in another friend that like about his unrequited crush, especially because it seems everyone else is
Yeah.
going on dates.
But like, given what we've seen so far, like he wanted to be the only one to visit Dazzler in the hospital. Then they're there, and he's like going on and on about how like he wishes that she chose him over Angel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
It's not great, and we'll get more out of it. I'm sure that
Oh,
infamously so. Yeah.
yeah. But I was gonna say, unrequited crush. There's so many ways they could have done Nightcrawler with these attributes and just made him as close as it could to the normal one, and he would have been more likable.
Yeah.
Like where he confides to Colossus, his friend, about I'm homophobic, but you make me not want to be homophobic.
Yeah.
And also, like, I did have this unrequited crush on Dazzler. I'm gonna be alone forever. And I'm like, yeah, probably, Nightcrawler. You should tell your friend that, because you probably will be alone forever, because you're a blue freak of nature.
Jesus. All
What?
right, so you just have a problem with blue people,
I
apparently.
do have a problem with blue people. Rebecca Romijn, Jayla.
Rebecca Romaine,
No,
not
it's Rebecca
Romijn.
Romaine. I thought it was, oh, Jayla I have a problem with. Blue person.
You're just talking about people who've played Mystique in the past.
I can't remember who played Nightcrawler in X2. It's a famous actor.
Alan Cumming.
Like, oh, actually, I don't have a problem with Alan. I love Alan Cumming. He
Yeah,
gets a
and he's
pass.
coming back. Avengers
is?
Doomsday, baby.
Oh,
So is Rebecca Romaine, so steel yourself.
now Jayla? Jayla's not coming back?
We've been over this, Josh. Every time we talk about this, you're like, J-Law's not coming back? It's like, no, buddy.
We have
She's not
never
coming
talked
back.
about this.
Yes, we have. I'll check the tapes. This has been in a previous episode. Anyone listening right now who has heard us before talk about this, please comment on our Instagram, on our TikTok, on our YouTube page. Like, I swear to God.
I don't like Bluey. I don't like Lautz's cow.
You don't like Bluey?
She's blue. Dogs aren't blue.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a freak
You
of
just
nature.
hate beloved children's media?
Rebecca Romaine is not.
Do you not like
media.
Blue's Clues?
You know what? Just to be consistent, we don't need that dog. It's a freak of nature.
Oh my God. I'm calling Steve.
I
I'm
don't like
telling
that
on
green.
you.
I don't like that green shirted guy either. I don't like that green shirt.
You just don't like color. You don't like blue. You don't like green.
Oh, I'm okay with like blue and green shirts. I just don't like that green shirt. Screw Steve. We could put that dog down along with Bluey.
Oh my God. You're a monster.
What else? The blue lady from Fifth Element. Never liked her. Always creeped me out.
I mean, I guess that's fair, but I don't think it's because she's blue.
It's partially because she's blue, and the fact there were like bricks in her, they ripped them out
What
of her
about the
body.
Smurfs?
I never liked the Smurfs. They deserve to be eaten. I'm okay with Gargamel eating a few.
What about the Avatar people?
Never liked those blue freaks. I took the side of the humans in that one.
Oh my God, colonizer.
Well, those were our people, the humans.
Our people. Listen to the way he talks.
Your people too. We're the same species.
Whoa. I'm not siding with those guys.
Well, you're siding with
so
these
racist,
blue,
Josh.
Blue freaks over your fellow man who's just trying to
I
live
fight
on this
for
planet.
independence, you know? I fight for human and all species rights, animal rights, alien rights.
And that planet Earth is uninhabitable, and we have to colonize this planet. It's either us or them. Just saying.
Damn. Do you hear the way he talks, people? Is this your problematic king? Anyways, we cut to Wolverine and Storm. It's really funny because the caption on the location says Nowhere Special, and then you look outside at the bar, which is literally called Nowhere Special, which is really funny. I think that's a great bit.
I love it when they do these small little jokes there.
Yeah, I think that was really cute. And Wolverine and Storm are playing pool, and they're like ribbing each other a bit, and Wolverine's going on about how Storm is clearly cheating with her powers, like just nudging the ball this way or that, using like the wind to like blow the balls into like the corner pocket or whatever.
That's not cheating. That's called using every opportunity. When I play cards, I bring extra cards just in case I need one.
That is absolutely cheating, Josh.
Don't tell Vegas.
Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me and all of our listeners. But yeah, then we cut to the mansion where Iceman is like in his room watching funny YouTube videos. Or at least I assume it's YouTube because he says internet videos. And I'm like, this is like the mid 2000s. It's probably on YouTube.
Yeah, as are we.
Yes. As are we on YouTube if you want to watch full episodes with video and see our beautiful faces. Ultimate Comics Podcast.
Comes into the room and joins him because, let's be fair, she doesn't have much to do.
Yeah, so she's like, yeah, can I see what you're watching? And he's like, yeah, why not? Yeah. So they bond over funny YouTube videos, and I love that for them.
Yeah, and Iceman, you know, I don't know how he gets with Kitty, how he gets with Rogue and someone else, and I'm like, this guy has no game, but apparently he does have the Riz. Meanwhile, Jean is just kind of like, she's like, she wears the pants in the relationship. She's the boy in the relationship, as they say. She's kind of just bossing Scott around, saying,
Yeah, throughout the date, she's like telepathically nudging him, being like, hey, it's kind of cold in here, and like trying to get him to put his arm around her, which he does, but
yeah.
only after she's like, hey, could you give me a little help here?
Honestly, if I was Scott, I would say, I'm sorry, go wear a jacket. Maybe put some more
Yeah.
clothes on, you horn dog.
There's like a scene in Seinfeld where like it's George's parents, like Frank and Estelle's like, Frank, I'm cold. And he's just like, order a hot dish.
I
Which
do
is,
that. Why should
yeah.
I use my energy to keep you warm because
Yeah.
of your mistakes?
What happened to feminism, man? You can
Yeah.
take care of yourself.
What happened to capitalism? I'm not with
Yeah.
this sharing my body heat. It's my body heat. I earned it.
Yeah. Get your own.
Get
Pull
your
yourself
own.
up by your bootstraps.
Exactly. Specifically, a jacket
Yeah.
strap.
Yeah. Get your own jacket. Warm
Yeah.
yourself. And Nightcrawler and Colossus are in the hospital, and then Nightcrawler has to teleport them into the hospital room closet because a nurse shows up,
And
and it's
the
really funny.
she goes like, she smells the Nightcrawler juice, the puff, and she goes like, man, we gotta change whatever we're putting inside you, Dazzler.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I don't know what they're putting in that IV, but that stinks.
And it's funny because like I know like Nightcrawler's homophobe, but Colossus is just so kind throughout. Like he thinks it's funny that they're just stuck in the closet together.
Yeah.
He's like the biggest bro to ever bro who's broed before, and Nightcrawler's just being a dick about it.
Yeah, he's just unhappy because he just wants to be with his one true love that has no idea that he actually has feelings for her
Okay,
and is in a coma.
Yeah, it is a little creepy, but honestly, if I had a big crush on someone, I wouldn't be creepy about it and just show up to their hospital room. But like, I feel Colossus is a guy you could tell problems to, like about your
Yeah.
love life, about the fact you're kind of upset that everyone in the mansion seems to be going on dates except you, because you're
Yeah.
ugly and a freak of nature that no one will love. Because you're disgusting. You look like the devil.
Oh my gosh. Now you're editorializing a little bit, Josh.
What do you mean?
Just a little bit. I
all-
don't think they say all that. Then back at the bar, there's this guy trying to come up and harass Storm, just being like, why don't you come over to our table? And he's like, that's not a request.
It's like, hey, dump this pipsqueak.
Yeah, she and Logan are not having it at all. They're like, are you serious, man? Like,
But-
and I'm like, yeah, you picked the wrong table. You're gonna get beat the fuck up by these two.
The classic thing with Logan is that he's in a bar or somewhere cold all the time, and he gets into a bar fight.
Yeah, that's just a classic Wolverine trope. But also, like, Storm, like, you can't mess with her. She's gonna beat the shit out of you.
And also, I know Logan's pretty disgusting, but Storm is like 19, 20. Don't hit on a 19 or 20-year-old.
Yeah, like, leave her alone. She's practically a child.
Yeah. Iceman back at the mansion staring at her eyes because, she absorbed Remy's gross mutant eyes.
Yeah.
And she goes like, stop staring at me. He goes like, no, I think they're cool. And then they Horndog it up. To my surprise, because I'm like, wow, these are teenagers, so we just watch teenagers bang. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, this feels like the beginning to some kind of like softcore porn or something, because they start like kissing, and then she uses the gambit power she absorbs to accidentally get his shirt. Iceman gets into ice form just in time, so the explosion doesn't affect him, but now his shirt's blown up. It's like, oh no, I lost my shirt. And she's like, saves me the trouble of taking it off, and she jumps on him, and they start like making out on the floor, and I'm like, oh Jesus.
He lifts her shirt off. She has the Doomy eyes from Lion King, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I realized, oh, they're teenagers. Still,
can you feel the love tonight?
I think Lion King is a great movie. I haven't seen the one with Beyonce. But also, I think some people put too much emphasis on the movie. I was listening to this thing, and this girl was complaining like, "Why do guys at dates always complain about like movies no one has watched?" And the guy goes, "I agree with you. I have not seen Lion King. Why do we make it a big deal that I haven't seen Lion King?" She goes, "That's fucked up. You haven't seen Lion King. No wonder men aren't like emotionally developed." And I'm like, really? Like we can't talk about obscure movies?
It's a good movie, but I don't think
it is a good movie.
I don't think it's essential viewing for your emotional maturity.
I'm just saying, like, because she's not the first time I heard it when someone goes like, if you haven't watched Lion King, like guys will talk to you about movies no one has watched, but they haven't watched Lion King, and I'm like, is like Death of Stalin that much worse, that much better or worse than Lion King?
I mean, I would recommend The Lion King before watching Death of Stalin, that's for sure.
They both involve a father figure dying.
I mean, yeah, but Lion King is just good for like just children in general. You don't show a child like Death of Stalin.
You can show a Russian child the Death of Stalin going like, that's how your grandpa died in the purges.
Oh man, I'm so glad you're not Russian, Josh.
See that scene where like the Soviets grabbed like an old man and shot him in that train. That was your grandpa.
Oh my god.
That's how your grandpa died.
Oh man, yeah, very glad that you're not Russian. Sorry to all the Russians listening. But at the movies, Cyclops and Jean are making out, so everyone's horn dogging it up.
And Jean kind of forced him, saying, "I know you want to horn dog it up. We didn't come here just for the movie." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Whoa."
yeah, she's
But
really being the dominant personality, as you say, Josh.
yeah, I agree. She is the one who wears the pants in the relationship.
Amen.
Yeah.
And we'll get into this a little bit more, but at the restaurant, Xavier is talking to this woman and he's like, "Yeah, I still don't know your name." And she's like, "My name, Lalandra Naramani." And she's from the Church of Shi'ar Enlightenment. And I'm like, this is this is so, like, I had a feeling that it was going to be, but I was like, this is a huge departure from the mainline comics. They're like, "No, we're not doing aliens. There's no such thing as the Shi'ar race. None of this alien, like, space bullshit. We're just making them like this strange, like, earth-based cult called the Church of Shi'ar Enlightenment, and Lalandra's a human." And I'm like, cool, okay, I
To
guess.
be fair, I have talked to fans of X-Men, and they go like, it's hard to get into 616 X-Men because it's easy, because you think it's like the movies. It's a simple concept, and then you find out aliens are involved, and you just get more confused. So I will be fair.
I know not everyone likes the space stuff in X-Men. I think it's good in like small doses. I don't feel like they have to be going into space all the time because at the end of the day, it is like an Earth-based team and the mutant metaphor is about like civil rights in like a very real world sense. At the same time, it's fun. I love when they go into, like, you read the original Phoenix saga, like near the end of the Dark Phoenix saga, like all the stuff with the Brood and the Shi'ar and like the Starjammers, and like it's fun. It's fun
Yeah,
space romps. It gets them off Earth for a bit. It gets them to, like, have some high flying adventures.
Magneto and the giant bullet.
Yeah, that's a little different, but I know what you mean. Like,
Yeah,
I enjoy that stuff. It doesn't have to be all the time, but it's a fun break from some of the doom and gloom on Earth. I like it. All right? Don't at me.
I will say a lot of the space stuff in Marvel is a little easier now that like Guardians is a bigger franchise and they kind of got cleaned up and shelved with the Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, I recently read through too, like, a lot of the Cosmic Marvel stuff, starting with Annihilation all the way through the Thanos Imperative. And there's a lot of really good Cosmic Marvel stuff, and that includes the Shi'ar, that includes the Starjammers, and that involves a lot of X-Men stuff, like it or not. So, like, there's a lot of fun stuff of Corsair dying and Havoc and Polaris, like, leading the Starjammers and, like, a rebellion against Emperor Vulcan, the Third Summer's brother. It's fun space opera hijinks, It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
That's my rant. That's my
I
TED
think it's
talk.
enjoyable too. I do think, as a new fan, when I was a new fan of X-Men, it was a little hard to absorb. It's easy to absorb the idea of X-Men, hard to absorb the space stuff at first. But if you read Guardians, so much of it, starting with Annihilus and then later on, so much of it gets cleaned up by shoving all the Starjammers and the space stuff with the Guardians. Though I
Yeah,
forget the Guardians also have a few crossovers with X-Men, like Kitty
yeah,
probably becomes Star-Lord for a while, so maybe
that's
that's
true.
not the best
Yeah,
analogy.
yeah. When Bendis is writing X-Men and Guardians at the same time, there's a lot of crossover, like the
Yeah.
Black Vortex, which I never read that, but
Also, Kitty as Star Lord's pretty cool. I wish he got Star Lord's old uniform instead of his movie uniform.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been pretty fun.
yeah.
But yeah, back to the main comics we're reading. At the bar, Wolverine and Storm have like finished beating up those thugs and they're leaving. And who shows up outside of the bar? You
It's
have one
Sabretooth.
guess. It's Sabretooth. Of course it's Sabretooth. It's always Sabretooth.
That's something I find I do like about Ultimate, because it's like something from the comics. Is the main comics that at the worst, most inconvenient moment, Sabretooth will show up.
And he's here to ruin Wolverine's day once again.
Yeah,
Like, of course.
yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
But then the movies, Scott and Jean are leaving, and like Jean is pissed off and goes on this whole thing about how Scott won't make the first move, even though she already knows how he feels about her because she's a telepath. And she's like, "I know everything you thought about with me, and there's only two things I wouldn't do. Everything else is fair game." And I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy.
She has a massive horn dog.
You're a freak, Jean. I don't even want to know what those two things are that Cyclops wanted to do with you that you won't do.
I've been butt stuff in a threesome.
It's just, I can't even fathom it. I'm like, this is so crazy
Or
and
maybe it's both butt
wild.
stuff. Because you could taste it, just don't smell it.
I don't even want to know. Scott, you're a freak. No, what you're so repressed, and Jean can read all of it. She's like, would it kill you to be more spontaneous and make the first move? And then he like grabs her and kisses her to be more spontaneous.
It also kind of makes sense of why she liked Wolverine first. Is that like even if she liked Scott more, she liked that Wolverine was just kind of a freak and dominant and spontaneous the way he isn't.
Yeah, Wolverine is very much more of himself. He's more open, he's more fiery, more passionate. Scott is definitely more like repressed, controlled, I would say, more of the time.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily repressed as much as it's like disciplined and not a
Yeah, he's a
massive
lot
horn
more
dog.
disciplined. He's like a little bit more reserved. Wolverine can be a little louder and like angrier and fierier.
Yeah.
So I can see the attraction. But it seems like things are going in a good direction now for Scott and Jean.
Yeah. Though it kind of sounds like she's still kind of like I get one person wearing the pants in the relationship. With Gene, it's like you boss him around in a way I kind of get uncomfortable. I'm like, it sounds like you're a dick to him half the time.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm like, there's some things where it's kind of why I'm not a fan of the Scott Jean relationship. I'm like, it feels like there's a lot of unhealthy aspects to their relationship.
I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but Scott and Emma are a little healthier.
I definitely prefer Scott and Emma. I don't
Yeah.
like how they started. I don't like how they ended, but for the most part, I like Scott and Emma together.
They're also polyamorous.
Yeah, during Krakoa at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the issue ends with the guy in the mansion that
Possibly
we
in
saw
Albany.
earlier, possibly in Albany. He finds his parents collapsed on the floor. I'm like, oh, bad news bears. Random guy we've never met before.
Yeah.
And the next issue, 67, starts with the police storming into this mansion and telling the kid, "You killed your parents, man." And he's like,
Yeah.
"No,
And it's like,
man."
and you're a mutant, and then he's in an empty field of grass.
Yeah, next thing you know, he's just materialized into a field of grass.
Yeah. Scott's kind of going a little far, and he was like, "Let's go." And she was like, "What about dinner?" And he goes like, "We could grab dinner later." And I'm like, "You disgusting horn dogs."
Yeah. Jean has no idea what she unleashed, asking
Yeah.
Scott to be more spontaneous now. He's like, let's just go back to the mansion. I'm like, oh my god.
We're gonna phoenix this saga real quick.
Yeah. Let's be fire and life incarnate.
Sabretooth explains to Wolverine, is like, "Yeah, I didn't die. I got in a coma, but my healing factor put me in the coma to heal after you almost cut my head off."
Yeah. He's like, I almost died, but and I'm like, isn't that always the way with you, Sabretooth?
Yeah.
And then Wolverine attacks, and Storm tries to like help, but she ends up accidentally making things worse. Like she blows a gust of wind, which just knocks Wolverine into a car.
Yeah.
And then Sabretooth grabs Storm and holds her hostage, and he's like, hey, you guys attacked me. I came here to talk, which is so rare for Sabretooth to say. I'm like, okay, now you have my attention. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. It'll be funny if it's like from Always Sunny, where he goes like, "I came here to forgive you for making my life hell. I'm moving on, man. Or I would have, but you guys attacked me and ripped my toe off, so it's back to war."
Back to war. And then after leaving the hospital, Colossus and Nightcrawler are leaving, and Colossus offers to buy Nightcrawler dinner,
Because he's
which
a
is
bro.
nice.
Because
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. He's a kind guy. He's a friend. He's a genuine friend.
He's just such a bro, man.
Yeah.
And then at the restaurant, Lilandra is explaining to Xavier how the Church of the Shi'ar, like, they invest in the future, and Xavier's cause for mutant rights is very much in line with their beliefs, so that's why she thinks they can help each other.
Yeah, and she goes like, "We know all about your spat with Fury. We have people in Shield." And Xavier's like, "Are you guys like a religion or like a secret society?"
Yeah, because she's like, we have people in like every major organization in the world. We have members in S.H.I.E.L.D. And Lilandra's like, as a gesture of goodwill, we're working on fixing your X-Wing and making a new X-Wing for you guys. I'm like, dang, okay. Seems a little sketchy still, but all right. She seems so far so good, but I can understand why Charles is skeptical.
Yeah. Rogue and Gambit have horn-dogged it off.
Rogue and Iceman.
Oh, sorry, Rogue. Oh, our script says Gambit. I can't believe I didn't realize that.
I mean, she has Gambit literally like within her psyche, but yeah, Gambit Rogue is making out with Iceman.
And Iceman goes out. He bumps into Scott, who's shirtless. And I'm like, ew.
Yeah, because Scott and Jean came back to the mansion also to make out. So it's just a massive Horndog sesh. And then outside, Colossus is explaining to Nightcrawler after they've like gotten burgers and everything, and they're sitting down on their car, and Colossus is like, I don't know why you have a problem with me. Like, I don't like you, you know? And Nightcrawler's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't have a crush on you.
I already have a boyfriend. I'm still the same friend that was your friend earlier.
Yeah, he's like, just because I'm gay, it doesn't mean I like every guy I see and find them attractive.
Yeah,
And I'm still your friend, and I've always been the same guy. I was
yeah,
always gay, and I'm still the same friend that I was before. But
yeah.
Nightcrawler's like, oh, it seems like I didn't know you that well to begin with. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. He's have a heart. He's trying to like reach out to you as your friend.
If this was like a 2000s X-Men comic and there was a character who had a problem with gay people, but his friend was gay, this is how you get over that. Though this thing would have happened and that guy's friend would have apologized, and this is how you learn. But this is
Yeah,
Ultimate, so
exactly.
there's no learning. And also,
Yeah,
Nightcrawler, you're an ass because you still had him buy you food.
yeah, exactly. Like he's treating you to dinner, he's trying to be nice to you, he's trying to reach out and say like, "Hey, I'm still your friend," and you're just like not having it.
Yeah, and also Nightcrawler, if women aren't into you, why are guys into you? Just saying, you're like gross. You look like a demon. No one can really like find that attractive. You have a
Here he
freaking
goes on
tail.
his blue people tirade or how why he hates Nightcrawler apparently, which is the
I love
craziest take.
Nightcrawler. I just think he looks kind of gross. He has a tail.
Nightcrawler is notoriously a ladies' man. He's got the sauce. He's got insane riz in the main universe. Everybody loves Nightcrawler. I
He
can't believe you'd
shouldn't.
be
He's a
saying he's
priest.
handsome.
He's a priest. He shouldn't be banging to begin with. Just saying.
Well, he's still doing it.
He shouldn't. Also, he's a Spider-Man too.
I think you're just jealous. Yeah,
Uh,
he became Spider-Man and he got it on with Silver Sable. Jealous much?
Poor Peter. Though actually, I think
Yeah.
Peter never gets it on with Silver Sable to begin.
I mean, she kisses him, so like, hey, that's something.
I mean, why not? Why let's not have everyone cuck Peter Parker these days. Paul
Oh,
did
well,
it. Iron Man almost did it. So why
let's
not?
not get into that again. We'll never stop.
Emma Frost should do it too. Why not?
Emma Frost, what the fuck are you talking about?
She should get together with Felicia and just rub it into Peter's face.
I would totally read that.
I would too. Because why not? Let's dump the trauma on poor Peter.
This is a pretty good discussion, though. I think it's a good perspective on what I like about the Colossus Nightcrawler stuff. Is like it's showing, like, yeah, just because you have a friend who's gay doesn't mean you should be worried about, like, oh, he's got a crush on me, and oh, he's gonna try and make a move on me. It's like, no, it's not a threatening thing. They're still the same people as before.
Yeah.
And it's like because you're straight, that doesn't mean you like every girl you see. Like just like that, like just because you're a gay guy doesn't mean you like every guy you see. Like just chill out, all right?
That's what I really liked about this scene, and it really saddens me because Nightcrawler doesn't get past it though, which is a
Yeah.
shame. Because I feel in any other comic, this is the learning opportunity, but they don't go with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't like how they don't go with that and they just make Nightcrawler just straight up homophobic.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a reference to the fact that the original Nightcrawler is Catholic, and I'm like, I've met a lot of devout Catholics who kind of don't care about the gay, if someone's gay or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
It shouldn't be a problem for him.
yeah.
And then we cut to Sabretooth holding Storm hostage and he's telling Wolverine like after I got out of my coma, I started to remember some things and you're like, what's he talking about? What are these like
Yeah.
things that you're remembering?
I thought it was going to reveal that, just like in the original comics, Sabretooth and Wolverine are brothers.
The thing is, like, they're constantly like doing some story about like originally it was intended that Sabretooth was gonna be Wolverine's father. They scrapped that. In the movies, it's that they're brothers. Like in the main
They-
comics, it's really that they don't really have any
They had a comic
biological relation.
where like Wolverine's like dad was like the gardener of a rich person's house, and Sabretooth was the original kid of the rich person, but they shared a mom, I think, or something.
Well, that was Origin, and that wasn't Sabretooth. It was Dog was the kid's name because it was his abusive father, Thomas Logan, I think.
Yeah.
That's like Wolverine's like biological dad,
Yeah.
where he's like James Howlett, but really the Logan caretaker of the place was his biological father, and Dog was his half brother then.
I've never watched Wolverine Origins, so I don't even know how I know this.
Yeah, but in the movies, they use that same origin in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but they replace Dog with Sabretooth, and they make them brothers.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, but we'll get to what Sabretooth is talking about in a moment. Lilandra is explaining to Xavier at the restaurant that the Church of the Shi'ar have private hospitals and compounds around the world, and they even have a surprising number of people in Hollywood that would shock you. And I'm like, this sounds like Scientology.
Or the Masons.
You're like, this sounds bad. I don't like the sound of this.
Yeah.
And she assures Charles, like, hey, I'm not trying to buy the X-Men. I'm not trying to do that. I do require one thing from you, though, which we will get to.
Nick Fury and Shield, however, get to the mutant boy in Albany, and it's kind of a fight, but they do detain him.
Yeah, they do. And so things aren't looking good for this kid.
He also summoned snakes to attack the Shield agents, so we're now getting a hint of what his powers are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then cut back to Sabretooth talking to Wolverine, and he's like, don't you think it's weird that, like, we both have healing factors, we both have claws? I'm remembering I was your replacement in Weapon X, and you want to know why? And he's like, because I'm your son, which is like, we've done every combination now. First, he's his father, then he's his brother, now he's Wolverine's son. I'm like, pick one. Just pick one. In the main comics, they don't even have any relation.
And Wolverine goes, prepare to die. And I'm like, oh, you're just an asshole
like,
overall.
I don't give a fuck.
It's like save me for paying paternity.
Yeah, all right, great. Like, you're my son. All right, soon I'm gonna have 0 children.
It's also crazy because, like, I feel this is in line with Ultimate. I feel if this was regular Wolverine, he would have stopped and gave it a thought.
But I think it's mainly just because he doesn't believe him. He's like, yeah, whatever, son. I'm gonna kill your ass.
Because he did kind of stop when he thought he had a wife. But also, this Wolverine is okay with killing a few kids, so.
I guess so, yeah. Just like an Ultimate X-Men / Fantastic Four when he blew up those kids. But then Xavier at the end of this issue is inquiring about, what are your beliefs, Lilandra? What are the beliefs of the Church of the Shi'ar? And she's like, it's complicated. It would take several dinners to explain it to you. But basically, we worship a god called the Phoenix.
Bum,
dun, dun,
bum,
dun.
Bum. It's this recurring thing that we I feel with Ultimate X-Men where they hint the Phoenix and then they kind of like stop doing it for a bit and they go like Jean has dreams and now the Phoenix is back.
That's right. So that's the ending of issue 67. We're like, oh shit, we're getting back to Phoenix stuff. Let's do it. Issue 68, the last issue in this arc, begins with Xavier has like gotten down to business. He's used his powers to freeze Lilandra and like stop her from moving, and he's like looped their conversation in everyone's minds so that it looks like nothing is happening and they're just having a normal dinner so no one pays attention to them. And he's like not messing around. He's like, explain everything now.
He goes, if you scream, they won't hear. And I'm like, that is my thing with Ultimate Professor X. He is just kind of a little too creepy and evil at times.
But I feel like this honestly is warranted because of the history that they have with the Hellfire Club and how the Hellfire Club tried to manipulate like Jean and the Phoenix for their purposes. And, you know, the whole... After everything with that, I can see why he's like now on guard and like so protective, especially of his students. He's like, after the Hellfire Club tried to harm my students, I'm like, he's going full Papa Bear on her ass. He's like, I'm not fucking around. Like, you better explain what the fuck you're talking about.
I know this is fictional. I do think it's a little mean because A, if she was Hellfire Club, she wouldn't give him dinner. B, are we just assuming all Phoenix worshippers are a Hellfire Club now? A little bigoted on his part.
I don't... Okay, speaking of bigoted, you talking about blue people and all this
That's
shit.
Different.
Calling Nightcrawler
I find
disgusting.
their appearance disgusting.
You side with the humans in Avatar. I don't believe a word you say, sir. I don't trust your word.
I'm just saying, it's like, look, there's no hint she's Hellfire Club, and we know she is probably not later on in this issue, but there's only one connection she has to Hellfire Club, and he just uses it as an opportunity to go like, I've roofied your mind. You cannot scream.
Well, you can understand why he's like on guard and why he's so protective immediately because of like just the history they have with people who worship the Phoenix. He's like been on guard this whole dinner and he's been very cautious. So I can see why he would want to be very careful about this and why he wants her to explain like everything immediately. But then we cut to Nick Fury cornering this kid who his name is revealed to be Elliot Boggs, and Fury explains to this kid that like you're a newly activated mutant, and the kid is like immediately like attacking Fury. He kicks him in the face and he's like, I know what you do to mutants. And I'm like, that's pretty smart. Yeah, considering like Ultimate like Universe's Shield and Nick Fury, I think it's smart to get on the defensive.
He kung fu's like he's fit, and other characters can't talk about this later, but he just kicks Fury in like a very professional way.
Yeah, he's like a professional fighter or martial artist or something.
It's like have you heard the story of, there was a guy during the Korean War, while the North Koreans were attacking South, one guy was like, I have a brilliant idea, I'm going to wait in this road and attack and rob refugees as they flee South, and an old lady mugged him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because he was like, he's a great victim. kind of reminds me of this. You go like, "You're going down, mutant," and he just kicks your ass really quickly.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then the guy like creates snakes accidentally with his powers that like
yeah,
attack the shield agents, and then he gets angry and he like blows up a patch of ground beneath them. And so then we cut to Lilandra in her mindscape showing Charles what the Church of the Shi'ar is about and how the Hellfire Club was an offshoot of their religion and it like
yeah,
warped the Phoenix's power for their purposes, but she wants to share the Phoenix's power with everyone and for like the good of all mankind.
yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, I'm an open book. Go into my mind, find whatever you want. Like, I want to do business with you." So she's very like, this has to be a relationship based off of trust.
But no more X dick. I bet.
Yeah. It seems like there might be a little bit of tension later, but maybe once this is all out of the way, once they get to trust each other a little more.
She gives them like their version of Genesis. The Phoenix was this force just flying around the universe, creating life. And one day life was like, we're not okay with this giant firebird creating life. So they locked it up in a giant prison. In that prison was Earth.
It's a pretty interesting backstory for the Phoenix, and I'm like, that's actually pretty cool, like world building there for the Ultimate Universe. I buy it, and I think it's a pretty cool backstory they create for the Phoenix here.
It's literally the Scientology backstory, fun fact.
Well, I like it less now.
You made the comment. That's what makes me laugh. So you made the connection earlier, and you missed this part.
I'm not a Scientologist. I want everyone to know I do not support this.
Yep.
But it's a cool story for the comics.
Yeah. I mean, look, L. Ron Hubbard was an okay sci-fi writer.
Yeah, it's a good sci-fi story. It's not good for a religion. I do not
it turns
support.
out it's actually very good for religion.
It's good for Tom Cruise.
And John Travolta.
Yes, and a lot of other celebrities.
So Earth, just like Xenu, is the prison that the aliens built for the Phoenix Force. And as giant prisons go, it's eventually developed an atmosphere, developed rocks, and developed life. And the Phoenix has since guided humans on their evolution and technological journeys. And this religion exists to communicate with the Phoenix, but they kind of lost. They don't know how to communicate with the Phoenix anymore, is what they are saying.
Yeah, exactly. So there's this prophecy apparently that there will be a mortal host for the Phoenix that will bond with the Phoenix Force and allow it to be free to roam the universe once more.
Yeah.
And she's like, Jean is the chosen one. She's the one that's been prophesized.
Yeah. And she goes, our one condition is we want to do tests on Jean with her and your permission to see if this is the Phoenix Force.
And she's like, we'll do it at your school if it makes you more comfortable, like whatever you want. And Professor X, in a rare moment for him, is like, hey, I'm not going to answer this until I talk to Jean and I get her consent on this. I won't agree to anything until I get informed consent from her. And I'm like, wow, most of the time Professor Xavier never asks for informed consent from people on things. That's crazy. Way to go, Professor. Progress.
Well, she's rich. It's a little different.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta look good for the rich lady so I can get her money.
And she could take my ex dick.
Yeah. They're definitely gonna hook up.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Iceman and Rogue have just finished hooking up, presumably,
They're
in
naked
his room.
And in bed, and he goes like, what happens next? And she goes like, it means we're back together. And I'm like, why not?
Okay, I don't really like this couple. I'm like indifferent towards Iceman and Rogue. It's just such a product of like the 2000s, like combination of Ultimate X-Men and the X-Men movies from the 2000s. I don't really care about this couple. I don't really root for it. I don't root against it, but it's just kind of eh.
I don't think Bobby in Ultimate X-Men, especially because he's young, is a good guy friend is a good romantic partner at all.
No, definitely not. Especially when he like cheated on her with Kitty, and then he was a bad boyfriend to Kitty too, and so like no wonder Kitty went to be with Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He could treat her well.
Yeah, and like we barely see Kitty in this arc, but we do like get flashes of either her fighting crime with Spider-Man or the two of them just making out on a rooftop. So we get little bits and pieces there. Because most of it is already in the Ultimate Spider-Man comic anyway.
But she's not in her special costume, which she made to keep Peter's identity secret, though.
Yeah, that is weird. I guess that's a bit of... This is either before she gets that costume, or this is like a continuity issue or whatever. But yeah, she's not wearing that costume she wore. The
costume is just sweaty and she can't really put it on because it's, gross.
She's like too much of a hassle. Don't want to deal with it.
That is the thing with superhero costumes. I never realized this as a kid, but they're hard to get into, realistically.
Yeah, realistically, they are tough to get into.
Yeah. That's why I actually like the MCU Spider-Man suit where you push a button and it tightens itself around you, like compresses the air. Because I'm like, that is the only way you can put those on like on time,
I
realistically.
like how they did that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. But then we get to Scott and Jean hanging out like in their Jean's bed. It looks like they hooked up or something, but
they definitely did.
he's like, "Do you like my more assertive self now?" And she's like, "Let's give it a month or so for this to stick, and then I'll give you a full evaluation." I'm like, I hope we see more of assertive Scott.
He's gonna act like Wolverine. That's what she's hoping for.
It's gonna get worse. Yeah, it's actually gonna go in the opposite direction now.
Yeah.
But back to the fight between Wolverine and Sabretooth. Wolverine's like, I don't buy this at all. He's like, there's no way you're my son. And
I honestly buy it. I know it's not true. Spoilers.
for a second, I did believe it, maybe. I was like, it's possible. It's ultimate. Anything could happen.
I honestly wanted Storm's reaction. She was like, whoa, whoa. She should have gone, whoa, whoa, Logan. Let's talk this through. This might be your son. You can't just kill him if he is your son.
But yeah, she doesn't say anything about that. Wolverine and Sabretooth just immediately get into a scrap. They start fighting, and Storm manages to zap Sabretooth with lightning, and he like runs away. So that's pretty much the end of that. Back at the mansion, Kitty returns from hanging out with Spider-Man. She took a cab home. Yeah.
And she says the most 2000 thing ever. She goes, I gotta sell a couple CDs to make up for that cost.
Yeah. She's like, oh, dang, I shouldn't have taken a cab. Like, man, I'm going to sell some CD. I've just like burned through a few CDs with that money.
Yeah.
And Colossus is kind of like brooding outside because like his plan to like be friends with Nightcrawler again didn't work, and Nightcrawler was kind of a dick to him, so understandable.
I feel sometimes losing a friend, unless it's like a divorce, is worse than losing a partner.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like actual like friend breakups or like losing a friend can be a lot worse in a lot of ways, because like friends should ideally are always there, and so that's not something you really expect to happen.
Yeah. That's also why I think when people go like, why don't you with this person, you go like, oh, she's a friend, and if she breaks up, it's over, but you lose a friendship too, is this thing.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, a friend can be even more valuable than like having someone like as like a relationship partner.
Unless it's a marriage, because then she takes half your stuff.
Yeah. Then it's rough.
It's
even
a double
worse.
whammy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That Kitty phases in and kind of like brushes off Colossus and is like, if you want to brood and be sullen, whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes into the mansion, and Nick Fury's standing there just with this young mutant in restraints and everything.
And he goes like, look, I know we don't work together. I don't know how to hold this guy. We think he's a reality warper. Just bring us back those expensive locks that we place on him after you guys are done.
And Kitty's just like, I missed the part where that's my problem, and she just walks away.
She learned that from Spider-Man.
Yeah, she learned that from Peter Parker. She learned how to say that. But then, luckily, Xavier's there in the doorway because he just got back. And Kitty's like, dang, like, I could have gotten a ride home with him. I didn't need to take a cab.
I don't know where she even got the money.
It was all her CD money she'd been saving up.
I bet she was like burning through. She was selling pirated CDs as kids did back then.
Yeah, I can see that as her side gig.
She's showing up to Peter Parker's school with the sunglasses, and she goes like, hey kid, you want some Britney Spears?
Yeah, she's like phasing into like CD shops and like stealing stuff and then fencing them at Midtown High. She's like, hey Flash, you want some Britney? Hey Kenny, Kong, I know you like Beyonce.
It'll be funny if this person was like, yeah, I'm gonna get high, and she's like, oh no, it really is just CDs. This isn't code. It really is just CDs.
But Fury's like, hey, I know we're no longer partners, but this is the best place for this kid Elliot. Like, this is the best place. Like, otherwise I'm just gonna lock him away forever. So if you can teach him how to control his powers, that'd be great. Thanks.
And give us back the restraints. They're expensive.
Yeah, once you're done with them.
Honestly, I don't buy this. I think something's off, because I'm also like, Fury, you met a reality warper and you found a way to restrain him, but you're not keeping him for yourself.
That's a rare ultimate Nick Fury win, but good on you doing the right thing.
I don't buy it. I feel something's off.
It feels like there's a catch.
I feel there's a catch somewhere.
We'll see, I guess, in the next arc, if there is.
Yeah.
Who knows what tricks he's got up his sleeve. Wolverine returns too. Like, everyone's just coming home at the same time. And he, like, runs into Fury, and he's like, yeah, why didn't you just have this kid killed? Referencing the Bendis storyline where Fury had him kill a mutant kid who couldn't control his powers. And Fury's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know some people don't like that story. I think that's a great story of, like, two people not wanting to do this thing, but they're doing it for the greater good and feeling bad about it. Though it's kind of become a meme on the internet.
I think it's a really good story, and I think a lot of people who've read that story agree. Like, it's heartbreaking and tragic, but a really well done story.
Yeah. Though honestly, I feel other writers have since said like, "Oh, these characters don't feel guilt about it." I'm like, no, the whole thing I feel is that they feel really guilty about doing this, but they genuinely thought this is the only thing they could do.
Yeah. And for the rest of time, Wolverine will hold it over Nick Fury's head,
I
and
feel
Fury will continue to deny it.
I feel in 616 both characters would have gone. We're not talking about this. It's a little effed up what we did. We think it's the right thing, but we're a little traumatized by it. We're not just gonna pretend it didn't happen, except in our
Yeah.
darkest moments. And here Wolverine just goes, "Remember that time you had me kill that kid? Crazy. What would Bush think if he figured it out?"
Yeah. Wolverine's using it as blackmail here because he's on shakier terms with Fury here than in 616.
Yeah. Talking of shaky and shadowy, Sabretooth returns to Dr. Cornelius, who is burnt. His face is all like third and second degree burns now and bubbly.
Yeah, he's in bad shape.
Yeah.
He's not looking good. He's looking worse than Sabretooth.
Yeah.
And then Sabretooth reveals in his conversation with Cornelius that, like, yeah, I used this bogus story to distract Wolverine. So he's not his son after all. Surprise, surprise.
He reveals that he has a bunch of Wolverine flesh. And Dr. Cornelius goes, "It's a little charred, but it should do the trick."
Yeah. And they're using the DNA samples Sabretooth collected so they can grow their own Wolverine. And I'm like, okay, yikes. That's bad news.
Also, why do you want another Wolverine? Sabretooth in this universe has all the same powers. Make another Sabretooth.
But Wolverine's clearly better, as these stories and every comic ever has proven.
Yeah, but not because of his powers.
It's just because he's better at what he does, and maybe it's in the DNA. But yeah, that kind of wraps up these stories. Any final thoughts on these issues, Josh?
Fun story. I think this is one of the better Ultimate X-Men. There's been a few really good ones. I feel this captured the essence of Ultimate X-Men. Just a lot of fun drama, characters going off on their free time and having a good dynamic with each other. Weird take on the Shi'ar and Phoenix is really interesting. Some stuff like the fashion and the fact that everyone's 14 is like not the best, and I think now editorial would have said like age up the characters a bit or change some details. But overall, I'll give it a solid B minus, B plus, B minus, B plus.
I'd put it in the B range too. Just because, like, it's nice that they start off this run with, like, some downtime for the X-Men and just some, like, hanging out. But there's also, like, a lot to unpack. A lot of, like, little moving parts and, like, soap opera and, like, relationship dynamics and, like, different story beats going on, which is very classic X-Men. And some things that aren't great, like Nightcrawler being kind of a weird incel stalker and a homophobe. But for the most part, like, really solid stuff. I'm interested to see where the Shi'ar stuff goes, even though, like, I'm not a huge fan of this interpretation of the Shi'ar. Just let them be aliens and let them go to space.
I feel Ultimate's weak spot is the alien and the cosmic stuff.
Yeah, like, they kind of tone it down because it was a classic 2000 thing of, like, oh, we don't want to go too hard on, like, the out there sci-fi cosmic stuff. We're going to make it more grounded and quote-unquote realistic. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well, kind of for the X-Men, because in Fantastic Four they go all in on the sci-fi stuff, just not the cosmic stuff. Because that is just too much to build on, I feel. I'll be fair to Ultimate this time.
Yeah, for this time. I agree with you. Fantastic Four, they're able to do more out there stuff. X-Men, they want to keep it more quote-unquote grounded, I feel like. But a lot of good stuff. I'm excited to see where the rest of this run goes, especially with growing their own Wolverine at Weapon X, what's going to go on with the Shi'ar and the Phoenix especially. And so, yeah, I'm not looking forward to whatever goes on with Nightcrawler and Dazzler, but here we are.
I heard it gets worse.
I'm so excited to talk about how much worse it gets.
Look what they did to my disgusting blue furball boy.
He's handsome and charming. How dare you? Don't you dare badmouth Nightcrawler.
He's charming but not handsome.
He's very handsome. I will take a poll later to see if people think Nightcrawler is handsome.
He is not handsome. Alan Cumming might be handsome, but he is not.
He's a handsome Blue Devil.
He's a charming Blue Devil that we love, but it's not handsome.
Well, if you want to write in and tell us what you think about Nightcrawler and if he's handsome or not, Josh, we have an email. What's our email?
It is ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com. Plural, podcast singular, ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com.
That is right. You can email us about if you think Nightcrawler is handsome or not, or pretty much anything about comics, the comics we read on these podcasts, or our podcast, or anything else, really.
Any suggestions, too?
Yeah, with suggestions, too. You can reach out to us on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Ultimate Comics Podcast. We have a bunch of photos from the comics we read, reels, TikToks, and full episodes with video on YouTube. Next time, we'll be continuing on with Ultimate X-Men, issue 69 through 71. Nice. Yeah. But until then, everyone, take care and make mine Ultimate Comics. Bye bye.